trying to be a high level overview because there are so many tools inside Moxi. I don't want to overwhelm, but I do want to give you guys enough to be able to start using the tool and jump in. As Renee mentioned, especially this time of year, I love to schedule one-on-ones and work with agents that want more help and want to dive deeper into this. So don't hesitate. If you get really excited about something but didn't get enough information about it afterwards, just go ahead and reach out, and I'm happy to schedule a one-on-one Google Meet or a small group Google Meet if a bunch of you have a specific tool you want to dig deeper into. I definitely will give you enough to get you in trouble. And I will try and keep an eye on the chat box. Sarah, if you could help me with that, if any questions come up. You can also unmute yourself if you have any questions, or if you need me to slow down, because I do tend to go kind of fast because there is, again, so much in here for you guys to dig into. Can everyone see my Moxi screen?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so when you log in, this is the screen that you generally land on. And this is your account screen. But I'm going to hop away from that for just a second because there is one great tool that I always like to point out. And that's right, well, there's two actually. The home screen. And I'm not sure why you don't generally land on the home screen. It takes you to my account. But the home screen, if you click on home, is a kind of a hub for single sign-ons. Many of the tools that we have available are, and we're adding more and more all the time, you can come here to this home page and you can click through straight into the tool without having to add your password. It's called single sign-on. And again, we're building out as many as we can. You'll notice these up here all look familiar. App files, don't worry about, that's a tool that we that our Florida partners use instead of .loop. But all the rest of these, you can access the tools and sign on straight into the tool without having to use your password. Below the single sign-on links is our whole Schmidt resources page. It's embedded right here into the home page of Moxi. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop. You don't have to necessarily go out to Schmidt resources. If you're in Moxi, Schmidt Resources is built right here into the home page. So you would just click on the Michigan tile and it would take you into the Schmidt Resources that you're familiar with, all those links and everything else. And I'm not sure why reload documents aren't here. I can't remember where she went to get those. But again, this is Schmidt Resources and it's straight login right here from Moxi. So then I'm going to jump into another real simple tool. As Sam was mentioning, a lot of times you'll get an intercompany referral and you'll maybe want to double check if we have an office or an individual in that location that you want to work with. So we have a directory built right here into Moxi, and it's the entire company. So whether it's someone in Florida, Ohio, USVI, anywhere in Michigan, everybody in the company is in this directory, as well as offices. So if you were looking for a particular individual you needed to contact, let's say you needed to get a hold of Bernie Merkel down here in the South region, I would just type in, and I always forget if it's EL or LE. I would just type in his name, and it's obviously LE. And there we go. All our Merkels come up. We have a Steve Merkel and a Bernie Merkel, and here's all his contact information. So if you're looking to contact anybody in the company, just remember, built into Moxi, we have an entire company directory, and it's going to show you all their contact information. Another one, say after the call, you wanted to contact me to set up a one-on-one, you would just go ahead and put in my name, and there's my contact information right there. Although, I'm going to have them update that phone number because that's not correct. But Rhonda can always find me. So this is the Whitehall office phone number, actually. But that is the correct email address. So that's the directory. Again, very useful. Now I'm going to go back to that account screen. And we're just going to kind of take a tour of the account settings. So to get back to that screen that I was originally on that had all my account information, I'm just going to go to the right-hand corner and I'm going to select my account. A lot of these extra links you may not have, but you will have website hub at, you will have website external links, which again will take you to those single sign-ons, and you'll have the My Account, which is what we're going to now. All right, so this is where you can update and edit basic information. So we're going to go ahead and go through some of these. Again, I'm going to have a lot more of these than you do, but we're going to go through some of these menu items, and we're going to go through the information that you can edit and why you would want to edit it here as opposed to your website that we're going to look at later. So to edit your personal information in the system, you're just going to click on the pencil right here. And you're not going to have to deal with that, obviously. But right here is where you can update, say that we have Judith in your profile, but you really go by Judy. You can update things like that here. You can update your title. You can add information if we don't have it in here. License number is not required in Michigan, but some people like to have it on their marketing material, so you can add something like that there. We'll go over to the next one, which is contact info. And this is where you're going to update your phone number, your mobile phone number, your email addresses, anything like that can be added here.
Hey, Judy, I had a question about those emails. What's the difference between the display and are they ever different, the display and primary?
I wouldn't think that they'd ever be different, but they could be. The primary is probably the one. I'll double check on that. I'm wondering if that's the one that shows up in stuff like directories, and this is what would show up on your website and your marketing materials. But good question, and I'll have to double check on that because I haven't had that come up before. So then the last one is web info. Now the information on this screen here is different than the information on your agent website homepage. This information feeds out to many other places, and that's why it's really important to make sure that this information is correct. This information is going to feed out to the agent slide in Moxi Present, which we're going to look at. It's also going to be on the About Me page of your website, but not the home page. And then any other place where it's going to pull information to fill it in, that's what this information is for. So when we get into Present, you're going to see why what I'm talking about now is really important. But I think your agent slide should be really robust. I think you should have a lot of information there because that's going to eliminate a lot of the white space on the slide. So rather than just copy and paste your regular bio, your short intro paragraph here, I would suggest breaking it out and expanding it a little bit. So maybe we'll have a paragraph that's why real estate. And then you're going to put a paragraph here. I'm going to grab something so I can copy and paste some text. Or I'll just do. So getting sloppy here, but this is one big paragraph. This is why you're passionate about real estate, why you love real estate, and why someone should work with you regarding your passions. So then we're going to go ahead and add another paragraph. So maybe why you work in the region you work in, not why you work in the career you work in, but now let's talk about the region. And then you would have another paragraph here about Marquette or St. Ignace or wherever it is you work in your market and why you're passionate about that market. So again, I would suggest several paragraphs, maybe 3 or 4. Break things out and share your passion, share why you do what you do, why somebody should work with you, but build it out, make it robust. And when we look at that agent side and present, you're going to see why I feel that you need to have this information here and why you need to build it out a little bit more than just one little paragraph bio. This is also where you're going to sync your social media accounts throughout all of Moxi. So these social media links are going to connect to your website. They're going to connect to Present. They're going to connect to Engage. So this is where you're going to update all of your social media links for the entire platform. Now, this isn't the link that gives it permission to post for you. This is the link that's going to direct someone where to go. So you would just, to do your Facebook, you would just go out to Facebook. Grab this other screen and drag it over for a second. Didn't come over. Sorry, I'm working on dual monitors here, and it's being finicky right now. All right. So now let's grab, oh, I didn't go to Facebook. We're gonna go to Facebook. And this is gonna work for all the variety of social medias. But what we need to do is go out and grab that link to your business page. So there's something you need to be really careful about when you're grabbing that link. Oops. And that's to make sure that you have the actual clean link, not a bookmark that you use to get to your page. So a lot of time, if you go here to pages and you use these links to get to that page, well, it didn't do it this time. It actually gave me a clean link. Sometimes you're going to have a backslash with some gobbledygook after it, or it's going to say bookmark. You just want to make sure that it's facebook.com and the page name. Nothing else, no added characters. You want to make sure it's a clean link, and then you'll just click on it and right click, copy, and then you'll just come here and paste. And that's it. That's all you really need to do, and you need to do that for each of the accounts that you have or that you want to share. So, but that's it. It's just grabbing that clean link and posting it to your profile social media section. I'm going to cancel all these changes because I don't want to save all this, but of course you would go ahead and select the save after you've gone through and updated all 3 tabs. You don't have to save after each tab. You can wait till you make all of your changes and then click save. So again, this is the information that's going to feed out to all of the different tools within Engage. This isn't just website editing. This is anywhere else this information is going to go within the system. Some other things to note here, we'll go ahead and look at the agent tools. If you would like to pull over Zillow reviews, which I'll show you what that looks like, you can do so in the system. I'm going to go to so the nice thing about Moxi as opposed to Zap is you can have testimonials, which are things that you type and bring in from other places, but you can also have reviews. Question.
Judy, there's a question about, can you add more than one Facebook link?
I just saw that, and I don't believe you can, and I'm not sure why you'd want to. You should be focusing all your attention on one business page for your profile. But if that's a need, let me know. We can talk offline. But generally, you don't want to spread yourself too thin. You want to focus your attention on one business site per social media channel. Hopefully that helps. Okay, so back to Zillow reviews. And this also will show you where some of that information that we just talked about will go. So this is your actual agent homepage. And you'll notice that information we talked about isn't here. We're going to look at how to edit some of this later. But where that information does feed on your website is your bio page. So if you go to About Me, My Bio, this right here is where that information that we just updated goes as far as your website. So this is, again, something I would say should be built out a little bit more and adding those extra paragraphs. But what I really came over here to show you is that you can pull in your reviews and ratings from Zillow. And we're going to look at how to do that, but it looks pretty slick, and it keeps people on your site instead of them going out to Zillow to see your reviews. So they can just see all the reviews that you have on Zillow, and it's going to show also your general ranking on Zillow as well. So now we'll look at how to do that. We go to Agent Tools, Integrated Tools. All you have to do is go right here to Zillow and activate it. And that's going to, which means adding your credentials, that's going to give Zillow permission to post these reviews onto your website. So once you click activate, it just walks you through adding your Zillow credentials. And I think overnight at the outside, you'll be connected and those reviews will start coming through onto your About Me page. There is also .loop integration, which will allow you to create a loop straight from your Engage account. And again, that's the same. You would just connect account and it would ask you for your credentials, and then it would connect that .loop account as well. So the integrated tools are pretty slick. The other thing is occasionally some information will feed through wrong about your listings, and if you may want to update the information, maybe marketing remarks got cut off or something like that, you can edit your listings right here, Agent Tools, Listings, and then just the type. So if we went to active and pending, obviously I'm not going to have any listings, but it would list your listings and you would actually be able to go in and edit that listing. So actually let's cheat and take a look at that. Actually, I don't know if anyone has any active listings right now. We actually have only like 190 something single family homes in Muskegon County, which is, we have Roger Simon's been in the market for over 45 years. He says he's never seen this before in his whole career. So it could be hard to find active listings, even if I were, even if I were to change profiles. So I'm not gonna bother with that because it's acting funny. All right, so that's your agent tools. Those are the things that you're going to use the most. And we've talked about my account and how to update your profile. Other than that, that's mostly what you're going to do in here. If there's anything else that you have questions about, go ahead and reach out. But again, we're just kind of touching on the highlights. And I'm having browser issues, so I'm going to hop in here and create a new window because I am going to want proxy. About that delay. For some reason I have browser issues occasionally, but if I go into an incognito window, everything seems to work. So, all right, so there's one other thing actually that I do want to touch on, because your ASCs are able to remotely come in and help you, but you have to give them permission to be able to do so. So to allow your ASC or RSC to have access to your account to help you, you would go to Account Settings and Account Access. I'm going to go ahead and manage my own account access. That's what you would do. And I am going to invite Sarah have access to my account. So first you would search for your ASC or RSC, then you would add them. And then after that, not very intuitive, sometimes there's those extra clicks. You do have to go up after you add them and click invite. And then once she accepts it, she'll be able to access and proxy into my account, which you'll see because I'll have to proxy to use present. And then when I'm done, say I didn't want her to have access anymore, you can go back into account access and remove them from access. The other nice thing about Moxi as opposed to Zap is even if you do this, even if you allow someone access to your account to help you out, they are not going to have access to your contacts or your clients. So no matter what, managers, ASCs, nobody has access to your client base. I know that's generally not a problem in our company, but some people are concerned about that. So I always like to clarify that no one's ever going to have access to your contacts but you. So I'm actually going to cancel the invitation because I don't think Sarah wants access to my account. And then that's that. So you can always see who has access to your account on this page as well. Nobody has access to mine, so it doesn't show anyone, but so that's granting access. It comes in handy if you want to do it temporarily, or if you want to do it permanently, that's how that works. So that's most of what you would do here in the My Account section. And we're going to now jump in and start going through some of the tools. So the first thing I am going to do, since I do not have MLS access, I am going to proxy as someone. Again, sorry about my cursor issues. All right. So I'm going to switch user, and this is what would happen if you had given your ASC access to your account. They would be able to switch user and grab that account. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and use. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and look at Moxi Present. Moxi Present is a great CMA tool. You can use it for listing presentations, buyer presentations. You can also work outside of the box, and we're going to look at how to create a newsletter that you can send out to your sphere using Present. But there's a lot of different ways to use it, and we're going to jump in, and we'll start off with a listing presentation, and then we'll hop in and do a non-MLS presentation like a newsletter. So just clicked on Present. And it's super easy. It'll just kind of walk you through it. We're going to start by hitting Create New. We'll go ahead and do a seller presentation. But you can see you have buyer presentation and buyer tour as well. The tour will map it out, and you can move them around on the map as need be so that your potential buyer has, an itinerary and can follow you on tour with that map built right into the tour. But we're going to grab a seller tour and continue. I recommend using the default because it's already built out for you. It's got some of the pages that you're going to want, and you can go ahead and customize it down the road and create your own template. But we're going to go ahead and use the default seller. We're going to prepare it for and create. So you would put your potential seller's name. And it is creating. Should be creating. It's taking so long. There we go. All right. So if it is a property that was recently listed and has an MLS number, you can pull the property up with the MLS number, or you can just go ahead and type that address. So we'll go do 216. And then you could fill in, it'll automatically map the property so you can verify it's the correct one. You can add whatever additional information that you have or that you need to add. I'm just going to throw some stuff in here. Anyway, so you get this idea, pretty simple. Just fill in the information you have. And you can add remarks as well if you'd like. But once you have the information there that you would like, you would just go ahead and go to the next page. One thing I did mention is this is where if you had a picture of the home or you wanted to change this picture out, you could upload your new image here. Continue. Now, by default, for some reason, it does not include sold properties. So I always like to point out that you do have a filter option right here. And this is where you can go ahead and add your solds. You can decide how far you want to go back with those solds. Let's do 3 months. And change any other information that you may want to add to the potential comps and apply. So now we have a fair number, 29. So this is where you can go ahead and look at each one and decide whether you want to include it or not. Although I personally like the next page for editing and deciding on comps because there's an easier way to see if there's any outliers. So right now what I'm going to do is include all. And that's going to select all 29. And then we'll go ahead and continue. And now the reason I like this page better is because it's a lot easier to go through this list and see if there's something that I want to remove, if there's something that's just way out of line. Like I think these top 3 are probably not good comparisons for this particular property because they're priced a little high. So I can go ahead then and remove those 3. And then I can do the same at the bottom end if I want. If I think these 2 for 79 are too low, we can get rid of those last 2. So, and again, I'm not a licensed agent. This is just kind of how I use the tool, and with my limited knowledge, you guys have a little better idea of how to go in and actually pull the exact comps you want. But they do give you a lot of great information. It's quick and easy. You saw how quick it pulled those comps in. If there's something that's out there that should be included that they didn't pull in, you can actually add listings and you can view them on a map. You can add a price adjustment. Say, this one had a whole new kitchen installed or something like that. If you needed to add that adjustment, you can do that here. So updated kitchen, and you would put your dollar amount. You can edit the marketing remarks, especially on a sold property. Maybe there's something that you need to change on that. You can edit the remarks. And yeah, so basically quick and easy way to pull comps. This is the easiest way I've ever seen. I love it. Hopefully you guys will as well. Once you have your comps situated, you have the ones that you want selected. Again, you would just go ahead and continue. It's going to look at the comps that you selected. It's going to do that, the pricing stats and the estimated pricing for the home. You can create a range instead if you prefer by just clicking create range. You can add remarks. Maybe you think it's a little too low or a little too high, or you can add some personal remarks as to why you feel this price point is justified. So that would be here in the remarks section. And then the other really nice thing I love about Present is you have your estimated net proceeds. So I would say open up your Chicago Title app or whatever you're using to create your net sheets with and fill this out. Now, say you had a couple different scenarios. You had maybe buyer fixing roof, seller fixing roof, or something like that. You can create up to 4 different net sheets. So you would go ahead and create that first net sheet using your information. And then you could go ahead and copy that net sheet and make the adjustments for the new scenario. So you can have up to 4 different scenarios for your potential seller to let them know what their net proceeds would look like. So let me go ahead and copy it again so we can see it in the presentation. So once you've updated and checked your estimated pricing, you've added your net sheets, you would go ahead and continue. And now this is going to take us into the actual presentation, and it's going to allow us to select those pages. Check in the chats quick. I believe Linda asked if this pulls comps from brokers not in our MLS. I believe it's MLS by MLS. Again, I'm not an agent, so I haven't really been able to compare that, but my understanding is each area has its own MLS. Oh, okay, Renee answered that. Thank you, Renee. Saw that after the fact. Perfect. All right, so this is the cover page. It's going to have your agent photo. Rick hasn't updated his photo yet. And again, this information is coming from that first place we looked, that first place where we updated our information back on our My Account screen. It's going to give us a property summary. I didn't put a ton of information in there, so obviously we have way too much white space. So that's what the property summary would look like. Then it's going to show you your listing, which is the blue star, and any of the comps that you pulled in on a map. Now, the one thing that Present does is it does show you this data in several different ways because people absorb data differently. So any of these slides you don't think your seller needs, you can remove, but it's going to show you several different ways to compare these comps in your subject property. So here you would be able to click it on the map, and it's going to pull up the details for that property by clicking here. So they can drill down as deep as they want into any of these properties. Listing overview is just going to be a quick snapshot of each of them. And again, if there's one they want more information on, they would just click through. Then it's going to do a side by side. Again, this is all the same information in a variety of different ways. So then they could just see that side-by-side comparison. Again, if they click on this property, it will take them into the details. It's going to show status comparison. So then it's going to be a linear side-by-side, basically. And then we have listing averages. And that starts to get more into the data analytics of the properties, the selected properties. So you can look at your actives versus your solds. I'm not sure why I'm not pulling data. Oh, there we go. It just took a minute. So they're able to look at those averages. And it's super slow. Sorry, that's my network, not necessarily Moxi that's making it so slow. Then it's going to show a comparison of days on market versus price. Price and size comparison. And this a lot of people pull out. It's the average estimate. To remove a slide, if you are not a fan of Zillow and don't want to include slides like this, all you would do is X out to remove it, or any of the other slides if you thought it was just too much information. You can X out of any slide by clicking the X. So then we go on to our price analysis. Our net proceeds, and remember we had 4 of these, so we could scroll through 1, 2, 3. I think I only did 3, but you can have up to 4. And then this agent profile slide, this is where I was encouraging that meet, because this slide I think really needs to be, I think we need to eliminate that white space. And this is where I was saying adding those multiple paragraphs, that's going to fill up the space right here. So we definitely want to make sure that all of that information is up to date and that we're utilizing this slide to the best of our ability. So those are the standard pages, but we have a ton of other pages that can be added to this presentation. So to add a page, you're going to go to Add Page. The easiest way to get the page where you want it right from the start is to click on the page before where you want that page to go. So say I wanted a page to come right after the cover page, I'm going to click Add Page. First, we're going to go to Add from Library. And hopefully everybody on the call is familiar with the Blue Book and the Black Book. Every page from both of those books are available to be added to your presentation. So to get to those pages, you'll go to Brokerage Pages. And here we have our Black Book, our Blue Book, and just our Schmidt at a Glance bullet points. This is just a regular residential listing, so I'm going to go to my Blue Book, and I'm going to find some pages that I would like to add to my presentation. So I really like our company, and I like the story of our company, so I think those are really important pages to add. To add a page, you just click Add, and you'll know it's been added because then it'll change to Remove. We have Schmidt Community Fund, I think is a nice page too, or that we give back. Again, there's a ton of powerful pages here. It just depends on how many pages or how much information you want to give your client as to what you actually add here. I'm going to go ahead and just grab those 3 for demonstration purposes. And now if I go back to my pages, you'll see that right under my cover page, which is the page I clicked on, the 3 pages I just added show up. Now, I actually don't like the placement of those, so I'll show you how to move a page. You're just going to grab that page, get the hand, and you'll drag it to where you actually really want it to go. So let's go right above our agent profile. So now if we look, we have page 1 and 2 of the Schmidt's family story. And we have our little slide about giving back, which talks about our community fund and some of the other things that we've done. So that's adding a page that we've got in there for you. Another thing that I think is very useful, and this will be maybe for those more power users, the people that really want to get into it, but I like to suggest that, so say that you're going to send this off beforehand, before your presentation to your client, and with a little note, hey, I'm looking forward to meeting you later. Here's some information that we're going to go over when I get there. Well, we all know video is king. So you don't have to just type that. And this is also a way to show you how to create your own page. But say you went out and did log into YouTube. Say you went out and did a quick little video introduction for your client on your phone. Hey, looking forward to meeting you later. Check out this information. We'll be going over it when I get there. But just wanted to give you a heads up on some of the stuff we'll be going over. So you do this little video presentation. And I'm going to sign in so that I can show you how to make it not public. Oops. All right, so I'm going to have to go back here. Sorry. Cursor right. I should have opened this before. So you do that quick little video introduction, that personalized message to your client. Then you would upload it to YouTube, because we do have to have a YouTube link to actually put it into the presentation. But we don't want it to be public on our YouTube site. So I just wanted to show you real quick. I know it's not Moxi necessarily, but how to do that and not make that video public. So once you upload the video, pause it, you can actually go to, I think you have to actually go to your YouTube studio, or you can do this as you're uploading it. But you do need to make sure that the settings for that video are not private, but not public either. So I think it's easier if I just show you as I upload. I'm used to doing this on my phone, I'm sorry. Video. All right, I'm just going to upload a video. It's easier that way. So I'm going to find a video quick. So you would upload the video on your phone. So you would find your video. You would open it to upload it. And let's see. I'm so used to doing this on my phone. All right. Here, right here is what, so it's actually when you get to visibility, you want to make it unlisted. If you make it private, if you send out that link and they click on it, it will not open for them. But if you make it unlisted, it will open for anyone that has the link, but it won't be searchable or viewable for anyone that doesn't have the link. So this is what you want to do if you're going to upload a video that you want to share in your presentation that's specific to a particular client. And I think it's a really effective way to share those videos because you're taking the time to really reach out to that client. They kind of feel special because it's a video directed just to them. And now we'll look at how to create that. So we've uploaded our video. We're going to go ahead and add page. This time we're going to create new. And we're going to build our page. We're going to look at some other ways to get really creative with how to build these pages when we get into the newsletter. But if you're just doing a video introduction to a presentation, just grab this one right here because that's going to allow you to do a full screen video and click create. Now we're going to create video. And then that's where we go out and grab that link. All right, this, we might have to shut off the second monitor if this keeps acting funny. So to get that link, then you would just go to your, oh, for Pete's sakes. My cursor keeps disappearing if you guys wondering what's going on here. So you would go to your channel. You would find that unlisted video. You can do that by going to manage videos if it doesn't show up right here on your channel. But once you find the video, you're just going to click on it, go to share, and copy this right here. You don't have to highlight or anything, just click copy. And then you'll just come here and paste. You'll add that video. When you click that add button, what you're telling Moxi is that, yes, this is your video and you have permission to upload it and to save it. So then I would save. I'd give it a name. So Leo is my client, and this is the intro for his presentation. You can give it a description as well. And then you can go ahead and save. So now when I go back, they're going to get their cover page. They're going to click on it, the cover page, and as soon as they start scrolling through that presentation, this video is going to pop up. So we've added our pages. We've learned how to create a page. Now we're going to see what this looks like. I'm going to go ahead to view. You can also view print. I did have an agent last week that called and says, "How I want to my clients are old school. They don't want internet version." This is where you would go ahead and you can view it as a print document, so you can print it instead of sending it to them via a web link. But we want to look at the live web presentation. So it's going to load, and then your seller can go ahead and start scrolling. Now this is the intro slide, and then it goes straight into that video slide. We can switch the order of that. If you want them to go straight into the video, we can move this video up on top of that presentation, the intro slide. But then it would just be a matter, your client can just scroll through and get their information. And again, we kind of went through these pages, so I just wanted to let you see how you could look at your presentation live before sending it along. But it's basically all those slides that we just looked at in the creation module. In the chat. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Renee. So then once we're done, we can either send right here from the screen by clicking send. And then just adding our client's information. You can also attach a PDF as well as send the presentation. So that way they would have a hard copy as well. And then obviously appropriate subject, make sure it's to the correct person, your greeting, and then your personal message. Because remember, they're going to get an email with a link to click on to actually engage the presentation. All right. If you aren't ready to send it right then, you just wanted to create it, but yet the presentation's a few days away, you would just then go back to your present home screen. And whenever you were ready to send it, you just click the 3 dots and you can go ahead and email it from here. You can also archive it. You can create a quick flyer, which is a new tool and I haven't really played with it yet, but obviously you can click on it and see what it does. Right here, you can choose your layout to create a quick flyer. So that's awesome. We can start doing our flyers in Moxi now as well. And I will have more information on that soon. Maybe we can do a little Moxi Monday on that. So keep an eye out for that. I will suggest that to Carrie. Oh, dear Lord, Tessie, go ahead. So yeah. So obviously, if you wanted to edit it, you had more information. Now you would just click on the pencil and that would open it back up to editing. So that's pretty much it. Buyer tours work basically the same way. If you have any questions on creating a buyer or seller tour, let's just take a minute, type them in, because next we're going to hop into newsletters and then we're going to hop and get ourselves over into Engage. All right, so I am going to delete this since remember I'm proxying as an agent. I don't want to leave that in his account. So that would be how you would delete a presentation should you totally want to get rid of it. All right, so I don't have to proxy to do a newsletter because that's not MLS driven. So I'm going to go ahead and hop out of this account and back to my own. Now we do have some newsletters set up. Right now the newsletter is kind of a holiday themed. So we'll go ahead and work on that. If you haven't sent one out yet, you still have a couple days to get out there and send out a holiday themed newsletter to your sphere. To get the templates that are built for you, you'll just go to brokerage presentations. And there'll be a few that you have that you're able to select from. We're going to go ahead and select the seasonal newsletter template. However, I've already added it, so I can select re-add if I want another copy of it. If you haven't ever added one before, it'll say add to my presentations. So I'm going to go to re-add because this is the one I want. And then now I'm just going to click my presentations. And I have that seasonal newsletter template that I just added. So now we want to, we've got a basic a basic template there, but of course you're going to want to customize it for your region and for your market and for your clients. So we're going to first go into edit. As an agent, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to see this pencil to begin with, because this is a page that's created in the brokerage templates. To get a page that you can edit, you're just going to click the 3 dots here, and you're going to actually duplicate this page. I have the pencil because I have administrative rights and I created it, but you probably won't see that pencil. So once you've created your copy, you can go ahead and remove this original page that you're unable to edit, because we don't want 2 pages that look kind of the same. And you'll be able to start coming in now and edit this page by clicking on the pencil. So this is a holiday graphic. If you like this newsletter template but don't want to send out a holiday one, you can go ahead and X out to remove that image, and you can add whatever image you want by clicking the image icon in this box. I'm going to go ahead and add the one back that I had, or actually I kind of like this one. It's all warm and cozy. So I would select that image. Now these are images that I've already uploaded. If you're uploading an image for the first time, you're just going to click upload, and you'll go out and search for that image on your computer and upload it. Let's say that I wanted to upload, I don't even know what this is, but we'll grab it. And then you would select choose. Now before you can actually use that image, again, you're going to have to click this add button to let the system know that yes, you have the rights to use this image. I'm not going to, I'm going to go back to the holiday one. So I'm going to click image. I'm going to go back to that one that I did have because I want to send out happy holidays, and then I'm going to click add. So now I do briefly, hopefully this doesn't run too long, but I do want to give you some ideas of where you can grab these images. If you go out to Schmidt Resources, let's go my cursor back again. There's a ton of there are a ton of resources for you, and adding images to websites and social media and all that good stuff. That stuff is already here for you in schmidtresources.com. So I went to Michigan, and if you go to social graphics, any of these graphics that fit that type of space, you can go ahead and grab those and use those on Moxi as well as your social media. So if you want to go to Moxi backgrounds, you can grab those. Or if you want to go to just regular holiday seasonal graphics, you can go here as well to grab some of that more seasonal stuff. We also have accounts for Getty Images. So if there's a specific feeling you're looking for, you can check the market and they can do something specific to just what you want. But right here, yep. Is that a question? Right here in Schmidt Resources is a great place, though, to come and grab some graphics. All right, so back to our present. Now, if you want to create your own new page or new template, you can, but it's a little tricky because you'll notice we have some spacer objects here. We found when we were creating some of these templates that Moxi doesn't give enough space between graphics and boxes. So we've added these spacers for you. So it's really nice to use the templates if it fits for your work. One thing I do want to show, and then we'll hop over to Engage because I don't want to keep you guys all day. And I know you don't want to be here all day, but I do want to show you how to embed an actual website into your newsletter and where to get some of that information. So say I wanted to find a really cool blog that had some seasonal information. What I would do is I would go out to coldwellbanker.com. Oops. I'm going to go to coldwellbanker.com. At the very bottom of the homepage for Coldwell Banker is a list of some of their other links out to different parts of the brand's, I don't know what you'd call them, different web page or different sites. We're looking for Coldwell Banker blog. It's right here. And then all you have to do, if you don't see something right away that catches your eye as far as this time of year, you can search. You can search the blog for holiday homes, maybe, and find something relevant to what the information you want to share. So holiday decorating ideas for small spaces, the 7 do's of holiday decorating when your home is probably on the market, I'm guessing is what that said. But I'm going to grab this holiday decorating ideas for small spaces. I'm going to click on that. And what I need to do is copy the URL. So I'm just going to click on that URL and I'm going to copy. Then I'm going to come to the field that I want to put it in. I'm going to X out any content that might be there. And to embed a web page, we're going to go to the option that says More. And it's doing this again. I did this on my last training too. So I'm actually going to add a row because it's being finicky. It should not do this to you. I think it's because I'm in Safari. Okay, more. Shoot. All right, so we're going to hop over to Chrome and try this again. Gotta love technology, right? So I'm going into my present, and hopefully Chrome's not going to give us the same issue. Edit my page. I've already duplicated this and I'm in the process of editing it, so it knows, and I can just go to my pencil. X out. I'm going to go to the More option, and it's still going to be a stinker. Sorry, I'm going to have to put in a ticket for this. Obviously, we have an issue with our present module. Let's see if I go into a different presentation. Put a note to contact support. Try this one. Sorry, guys. So there is a training in Schmidt Video Classroom on how to embed web pages. I'm sorry that something is not working right now. And again, like I said, I will contact support in case it's a site-wide issue. Maybe for some reason it's just my computer. It's the joy of doing technology training is we always have hiccups. Well, don't always, but.
Judy, I'll add that video when I send this one out. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's really simple. There's just there's 3 key things to remember, but it's really easy to actually embed a page in, and I'll show you what that looks like. View web. So like right here, this is actually a web page that's embedded. It's the Blue Book. So this is the kind of stuff that you can do with a Moxi presentation. This again is what I was trying to do. This is a Coldwell Banker's Blue Matter blog post. But the nice thing is you can actually scroll through that whole post right here in your newsletter. So sharing some great information and having it all in one place is great. And then of course you can also do some home for sales, home searches and all kinds of stuff like that. That information is in that video. So actually Fate is on our side. I don't want to keep you here forever. So Sarah's going to share that video and that's going to allow us to move on a little quicker into our Engage. And present. So present obviously is for creating presentations. Engage is for engaging with your sphere and your clients. The really cool thing about Engage, because a lot of complaints we've had in the past is I hate having to manage people all over the place. I'd like to have all of my people in one place and be able to manage them from here. So Engage actually syncs with your CB Great Lakes Gmail account. So if you are using cbgreatlakes.com, you will manage your contacts through Gmail. So even though this is a Moxi presentation, we're going to hop over to Gmail real quick and look at how we can manage our contacts. All right, so back in Chrome. And I'm going to, way too many tabs open, I know. Awesome, cursor. Oh, dear. All right. That page small enough. So to manage your contacts, you'll go to your G Suite account, and then you'll go to these 9 dots here and select contacts. And this is where you can manage everything to do with your Moxi Engage account. The nice thing is it's also keeping your email account up to date so that everything is mirrored in both places. So the first thing you're going to do is you can upload your contacts. So say you have your contacts on a spreadsheet or in another CRM and you want to bring them into G Suite. You can go ahead and create contacts, multiple contacts, and then you would just go out and search for that that Excel file. When you do save it from Excel, you do want to save as a .csv. And that's really just when you go to save, don't click save as, and select CSV as the file type. Because then you're going to be able to grab that file. You'll search for it on your computer, and then you will upload the contacts. So once they're uploaded and they're in your system, G Suite makes it really easy to manage contacts. I'm a firm believer in labeling contacts for many reasons. Here on the Lakeshore, we do events. We do Christmas tree events, flower events, all these different types of events. And if I'm creating those labels in G Suite and attaching the people that I want to send my Christmas tree cards to, I'm going to be able to manage those people much easier across all my platforms. I'm going to be able to print labels, all that stuff. The other thing I think labels are great for is, say you get a specific type of property. So if you have and I use silly names, but if you have a City Slickers bucket, you know, if you have a property downtown, that those are the people that you want to market to, they're already set up and ready to go, and you can market specifically just to those types of people. I also have a Lakeshore living account. Do I have a question? Yeah. Yes, and we're going to talk about that. Everything that you do here is going to automatically sync over to Moxi. Anything you do in Moxi is not going to sync back to Gmail, but anything you do in Gmail will sync into Moxi as long as you're using your CB Great Lakes account. If you're not using CB Great Lakes and you are using a Gmail account, we can reach out and put in a support ticket to have access or a direct Gmail account to be able to do this syncing.
Did the tags pull over too, or no?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, maybe I missed that. Did the tags pull over?
Yes, that's why I'm saying this is the best place to come in and organize your clients, because your labels are going to move over as well as your clients. So anyone that's added to your G Suite and added to the Christmas tree label at any time throughout the year, they're automatically going to get updated and added to that tag in Moxi as well. So adding a tag is easy, creating a new tag. Say you wanted to create I'm trying to think of something I haven't done already. Say I wanted, I was getting a new listing that's like this big, huge horse ranch or something. So I wanted to create a rancher label. So I would create the label rancher, and I would save that label. Now I can go through and I can select all the people that I want to add to that label. And I know in the beginning, this is going to seem overwhelming, especially for those of you that have a big sphere. But once this basic updating is done, and I think it's easier here than anywhere else, it's just a matter of maintenance after that. So using this time of year to get these kind of little tweaks done is going to help you guys market more efficiently throughout 2021 and beyond. But I'm going to select all the people I want to add to that label. And then I'm just going to click on Manage Labels. I'm going to look for that new label. I'm going to check it, and I'm going to apply. And then those people will automatically be added to that label. It does sometimes take overnight to sync to Moxi, but it will sync over to Moxi. So now that we've kind of seen how to manage people here in G Suite, we're going to hop over into our Engage account. So again, this is the best, most efficient way to manage those specific marketing needs and those specific types of tags that you want to bucket your people into. So now we have our people in our G Suite. They're all synced up. They're all organized. They're going to feed over into Moxi, and we're going to look at that when we dig into people, but I just kind of want to go over the dashboard real quick first, because the dashboard is really helpful, and it's Engage is designed to keep you on track to meet a goal. In fact, the first time you log into Engage, that's the first question it's going to ask you is, what is your goal? It is now asking you for your goal for 2021. You won't see that update until we hit January 2021, but you can go ahead and get that entered into the system. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to remind you to reach out to people. Every day it's going to pick 5 people for you to reach out to. All you have to do is either mark it as done. You can reach out through the system right here via email, neighborhood news, or campaigns, and we're going to talk about these 2 in a minute. Or you can just mark as done, say that you reached out to them via social media or you reached out to them on the phone. You can just go ahead and mark that as done. You can put in some notes, congratulated him on his new dog via Facebook, and then you would log that note. And that would give you that CRM, that customer relationship management information, so that you, next time Leo B came up on your Stay in Flow, you would be able to see those notes and see how you reached out to him last time. Or if you wanted to go directly into his account, you could also see how you reached out. So that is what Stay in Flow is. It's giving you 5 people every day to reach out and touch, just 5 people, pretty simple. If it's someone you don't want to reach out to, you can skip them and it will replace them with somebody else. So there's always 5 people that you can reach out to every day. Activity feed, once you're using campaigns and things like neighborhood news, it's going to show you who's opening it, what's going on, when it went out, all that kind of information, information that's coming out from the system. You can also dig deeper and see the actual details if you were to click. Your to-do list is if you're adding tasks to the system. it will remind you to do those tasks. Your calendar. If you're using CB Great Lakes, again, your calendar is automatically going to sync into the system. One of the other things we're going to look at is if you're adding special dates to your clients, like birthdays and anniversaries, those will show up on your calendar. So you're going to be able to see when you log into the system or when you even look at your calendar that, oh, it's so-and-so's house anniversary, I better send them a gift. So that's what your calendar does. It also, I didn't enter any of this. Anything that you put on that CB Great Lakes calendar will feed over. Sales flow. This is a way to keep you on track for goal setting, and we're going to look at how to put people into these various buckets to keep your sales flow up to date so the system understands what's going on with your people. The system is automatically, once you put in that goal, it's automatically going to help you not only stay on track, it's going to track your sales. So anytime you close a sale in the MLS, it's automatically going to feed into your goals. So you're going to be able to track that goal in real time. And then your listings will show up here as well. So that's your dashboard. That's just your kind of at a glance, what's going on with your business right now. No questions. So now we're going to go into our people overview. Because as well as those buckets that we created that are specific to how we market, there is also our sales flow. And this is an important part of Engage because it's what helps us stay on track to meeting our goals. And it kind of lets the system know who is at what point in the system, in the transaction, or who's potentially a buyer, who's potentially a seller, who's not anything. So that's what our sales flow is. It's going to give us some recommended actions for people that are in the sales flow already. So I have Jessica in here as a buyer. So it's telling us that we should have her subscribe to our neighborhood news. Again, we're going to look at that in a minute. And it's going to show us our new people that have fed over from Gmail. Now, if we go into my people, this is going to list everybody in your system. And I recommend occasionally just clicking on this categorize wizard because we have our filters or our labels. These are ones that I've created in G Suite that have fed over, but there's also our sales flow / pipeline. And these are categories that are baked into the system. And we want to make sure that we're getting people into these baked in portions because these are the ones that are going to tell us if we're on track to meet our goals according to our pipeline. So I'm going to close my filters and getting them into the pipeline bucket, super simple. Moxi makes it as easy as possible. We're going to click right here where it says categorize wizard. Again, these don't have anything to do with our labels. These have to do with our sales pipeline. I'm clicking categorize wizard, and it's going to bring up anybody that's not in my sales flow buckets. And all I have to do is click through. So Katie Rice, she's a fellow realtor. She's a non-client. So I'm just going to click non-client and that she's a collaborator. Kelly Ostoff, we'll pretend that she's a client and she's a seller prospect. Kim Jones, again, we can do client, and create marketing plan means it's not necessarily a buyer or a seller, but it is a client that may eventually return to our pipeline. So we're going to create marketing and we're going to call it a past seller. And we can, at that point, create a plan, but you don't have to. Did somebody have a question? All right. So again, it's super simple. You just keep clicking through. Leo obviously is my child, so personal. And again, personal. Now, say that there's somebody that you don't even want in your Engage. The good news is if I remove Linda from Engage, it's not going to remove Linda from Gmail. So if this is somebody that I don't want anywhere in this CRM system, I can remove her from Engage. And remove, then she'll never come back in from Gmail unless I put her in here. But she is then no longer in my system here. So again, it doesn't backfill to Gmail, but it does forward fill from Gmail. So you would just keep going until everybody was in the correct sales flow bucket. Again, that's going to help Engage have the information it needs to help you reach your goal for 2021. So that's your people. If we go into calendar, again, this is your CB Great Lakes Google Calendar. Everything is going to come up just as you would like it to. Goals. Again, I'm not attached to an MLS, so you're not going to see a lot of information here, but you will see the information that would populate if I were an agent. So closed transactions are automatically going to fill from the MLS. It's also going to pull in my actives and pendings. So again, it's just going to give the system the information it needs to know to see how on track I am with goal. It's going to show my prospects, and this is why that pipeline is so important, because it's going to let the system know that I have 11 buyers on track and 7 sellers on track. It's going to also be able to connect those sales with those clients. So it's going to be able to calculate things like average time in process and average size. GCI forecast is going to take all that information and give you your forecasted GCI for the year. And then I like this one because, you know, realtors are always a little competitive. If we go to comparable average, you're going to be able to compare yourself to your office and to your MLS. So it's kind of cool to see how on track you are with the rest of your market as far as your sales and transactions. So the goal information is pretty useful, and it's a great way to stay on track. And it's very simple to use because you're not having to add a lot of the information. It's pulling in from the MLS for you. So again, just like Zap, we do have campaigns available. They're not the same because, of course, we're not tracking compliance and all that good stuff. But you do have a way to reach out to your sphere that's simple and easy. We have holiday campaigns that are set up. So to add a campaign, you're going to go to Add from Library. And I suggest you do this with everybody in your system. And here is our holiday campaign for 2021. You're just going to click Add to Campaigns. We also have a seasonal home maintenance for 2021, so that one's a good one to attach to everyone as well. So once you add it to your campaigns, you can close out this window, and you'll notice now I have Holiday Campaigns 2021. I don't ever recommend editing the campaign. If you do edit the campaign, it cuts the tie between the brokerage campaign and the campaign that you've added. What that means is if at a brokerage level we see a mistake or something has to be changed, if you've made any edits to this campaign, that change is not going to affect your campaign. So unless there's absolutely something you have to change, I don't recommend editing. But if you click right here on the name of the campaign, that's where you can actually go ahead and run that campaign. So we can go ahead and look at the campaign and see what's scheduled and when it goes out. We can even preview the emails, see what they look like. Hit the back button, not the browser back button, to get back to where you were. And then you would just add your people. So you can either select all people, which is what I recommend for the holiday campaigns and the seasonal home maintenance campaign, or if you have a specific group that you've identified that you want those to go out to, you would select that group. And again, these are all those labels that came through from G Suite. I did not create these here in Moxi. I created these in G Suite. I don't want to send it to people. So I'm just going to go in and add myself so that I can take you all the way through the process without accidentally sending this to someone I don't want to. All right, so then I would add my people, go to next. Up. My husband, and go to next, and save. So then the campaign is running. It's going out to the people that I selected. Again, I just selected one person because I can't remember who's in my Moxi. And that's it. Next, all I have to do is hit Run Campaign. And now anyone that I've selected will now be getting that holiday campaign. You're going to be able to get a snapshot once emails start going out. Obviously, nothing's going to go out till New Year's on this one. But once things start going out, you'll be able to get a snapshot of the open rate for the emails, all of the emails aggregated on this screen. So if we were 5 holidays in, this would show all 5 holiday open rates together. It would also show me unsubscribes. So that's campaigns. Again, I would go in right after this call. I would add everybody to the holiday campaign and everybody to the seasonal home maintenance campaign. And that means that you would be touching everyone in your sphere pretty close to monthly if you have both of those campaigns set up. If you decided you don't want something to run anymore, you can pause it. Or at the end of 2021, if you want to get rid of the data or seeing any of this information, you can archive them. Neighborhood news is pretty much basically a market snapshot that you can share. And this is the open rate and unsubscribes. To actually set it up, I'm going to go back to my clients, my people. And this is another category that you might consider setting up in your G Suite account, and that's like locations. So maybe separate your neighborhood news, separate your people out into specific zip codes that they might be interested or something like that, because neighborhood news is kind of a regional location driven email. So I'm going to go to my filters. Let's say that I wanted to do neighborhood news for White River Gallery. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I'll do the RSCs in case I accidentally actually do one. So I would select people that were in that region that I was setting up this neighborhood news for. I would apply that filter. I would select them. And then I'm going to add to neighborhood news. I'm just going to do a quick neighborhood news. And we can enter the same zip code for everyone. So that's why it's nice if you have them broken out into those regional buckets. Or you can go down that list and you can apply a different zip code for each client. But that's going to set them up for the neighborhood news. Of course, you probably want to set yourself up on that list so that you're getting a copy as well. But so say if I wanted to do the same zip code, I would just do 49461 and apply to all. Oops. I'm not going to torture all these RSCs with doing that, but obviously you would just do apply to all and done, and then it would automatically start doing this neighborhood news. I believe it goes out bi-weekly. Sorry, I should have checked on that before I did this. But it goes out regularly once you apply it, and they'll get market updates on that area and what's going on in that area. So, close that. And then real quick, because I know we're probably all getting a little burnt, we're going to go through website edits. Do we have any questions on Engage or Present before we move on? Again, the biggest takeaways with Engage is updating them in Gmail contacts, and then making sure that you go through that categorize wizard and get them into the correct buckets. So those are the, and then making sure to attach those campaigns because it's a great way to stay in touch without having to think about it. That's it for present. And next, we're gonna just real quick touch on some highlights of my website. The websites are extremely powerful. You can do a ton with the websites, but I'm gonna walk you through the basic primary edits to get it looking good. And if anyone wants to do a deep dive or talk about custom pages or anything like that, that would be an offline one-on-one. We're just gonna kind of go over the basics. So to get to your website editor, you'll click on my website. And that's actually going to launch you into a web platform called WordPress, which I was very fortunate. I've been working in WordPress for 15 years. So for me, it's a very simple tool to use, but they've made it even easier for you guys. Everything that you need to do to get the basics of your website up and running is right here in this common tasks section. All of these tools are also built here into the actual menu of WordPress, which is on the left. But the easiest thing for you, if you're just jumping in, is to go right here through your common tasks. So you would personalize your site style by clicking here. And I'm just going to go through the major ones. One thing you do want to do, and it showed up for just a second, but the very first time you click on that box, you're going to want to make sure that you are selecting your DBA up here. I've already done it, so it doesn't show, but you will be given the opportunity when you go to personalize your homepage style to select the correct DBA. That's going to make sure that it's getting your DBA on the web page, and it's going to give you the proper logos and banner options. Always to get back to that common tasks, once you've drilled out of it, all you have to do is go home. And then you would just go on to the next one. You personalize your home page. And now we're going to go through this. Again, I'm going to go kind of quick because I know you guys are probably getting a little burnt. But I would leave the name. The next thing is your background image. So if we go, lost my cursor again, to we go to Bree's website, you can see this right here is what we're talking about as the background image. You do have the ability to bring in your own. If you have a professional image from a professional photographer, you can bring that in, but we have a ton of options for you. Or again, you can reach out to the marketing group if there's a specific look you're looking for, and they can go through Getty Images and try and find something for you. But if you go ahead and upload or choose an image here, and if you go to image gallery, you'll see that we actually have a ton of images that are already in here for you. You know that they're high res, you know that they're the correct size, and there's some great options. We launched as a company, so there's a lot of things that maybe don't seem appropriate here, but there are also a ton that are appropriate for your markets and regions. I'm not feeling very Christmassy because I don't have any snow down here yet. So I'm dreaming of snow. I'm going to go ahead and change my image. And again, this is nice too because you can change these seasonally. This almost looks like Chris Point, so you guys could probably use something like that. But I'm going to go ahead and grab the snow one. And then you go down here to the bottom left and select for custom area. Now I used to have a black background, so my text is probably not going to show up now. This is where we can change that text color. So this might be tricky because there's dark and light, but I'm going to go ahead and select black. And because there is dark and light mixed, I'm going to leave this image lightened. So maybe it'll lighten some of that darkness up and make the text pop a little bit more. So these are just ways to make sure that your text is showing. By lightening the image, dark text will show up better. By darkening the image, white text will show up better. So that's your custom image area. If you have a tagline, like you'll notice Bree has your key to the lakeshore, that's her tagline. That's what goes right here. So guiding you home since 1924 or whatever that date is, or whatever your tagline is, that's what you can put right here. Search bar text, that's what's going to show up in the search bar. So I've got my name and title. If you want to use a different headshot.
You got all that money. What are you buying her for Christmas?
If you want to use a different image,
every time
I'm sorry, I'm going to mute.
the bar usually. I took my ones.
I can't mute her.
for about 6
I can't mute that, Sarah. Can you?
You know.
Wow.
If you want to use a different headshot than what you have in your regular Moxi where we were before, you can change that headshot here. If you don't change it,
Wow.
that first place we looked at setting up our account, you can it's going to feed from there. Also, all this information is going to feed from there. If you need to change it for web purposes, you could do that here. The next is a text box where you can put your bio, you can put anything you want. The reason I pop over to Bree's page a lot, even though it's not very built out, is because I think that this above the fold section, this section that shows up when you log onto her site, is ideal. Although she doesn't have as much information further down, this really grabs the user's attention. And I think the biggest part here, if you have an agent bio, people don't read much anymore. I'm sorry to say, I'm an English major. But by putting an agent video here instead of some text, I think it's
Hi, Bill, it's Linda.
It's much more engaging.
What have you heard?
It's going to grab people's attention a little bit more. So that's a thought.
You sure can.
When you're working on this homepage section. Mine, I have just some text that I threw in here. You can add images. This is your edit bar here. So it's kind of just like working in Word. The only thing that's not on the edit bar is if you do want to add a picture, you're going to have to use this add media button here. So everything else you can do right through here, but if you're adding an image, you would use add media. If you want to do like Bree did and add a video, you would use this right here.
Oh, yeah?
And you would use that YouTube link, and everything else should default to correct.
There's that. Yeah.
So that's editing the actual.
Yeah.
The next section is featured properties. That's right here.
Can I mute? They can hear.
Figured it out. So by default, it's office listings. That way, new agents don't have to worry about coming in here right away. But there are ways, and again, I don't want to overdo it today. There are ways to create custom lists, or you can just do my active listings, my sold. But one of the custom lists that I can teach you how to make if you have a lot of your own actives and sold, and anyone wants to do a one-on-one, is you could create a my actives and solds, so that just your actives and solds show up. But by default, it's office listings, and in this kind of market, that's probably best because nobody has a ton of listings. So, custom search, again, some of this stuff I would save for offline or one-on-ones, or if we want to do a follow-up advanced session on websites alone, because these websites, again, are just so powerful. You can customize. You can look totally different than the agent down the road. It's not like Zap or Moxi where everyone's page has to look the same now. We actually have custom pages that can be built out. And then towards the bottom, you have another box where you can add any content you want. If you add a video above, maybe this is where you could add some text about whatever you want to communicate with your client that's not in your agent bio. So we got bottom, you could see that there was some sample mortgage rates, and again, this comes, I think, from Zillow. So it's something that you don't have to have, and it isn't really explained well, but this hide this widget right here, if you click the box to hide it, that's what's going to disappear. This box is unchecked, that will show up on your website. If you have content in this box and you do not hide the widget, then these two spaces are going to be take up half of the page each. Whereas if you hide this widget, this content right here will be full screen on the page. So that's your home page. Again, I know we are flying through this stuff. I'm definitely available for one-on-ones, and I know Sarah knows her way around here as well. So we're going to go back to home. I'm not going to save changes. Questions? All right. So we talked about custom search briefly. If you want to try it on your own, this is where you would do it. Custom menu links, if you want to add a third-party website to your menu, that's where you would do that. Again, a lot of these are more advanced features that don't need to be done to get your website up and running and looking great. The main one is getting the top 3 done, or I'm sorry, the top 2 done. Client testimonials, obviously this is where you would go to add those hand-typed testimonials. It's pretty simple, you would just click that. And what I generally suggest is find something really catchy out of the testimonials, like great attention to detail. Maybe that's one of the phrases in the testimonial. Just going to do this quick. Say this was on your Facebook, you would just copy and paste the rest of the testimonial there, blah, 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 blah. And then usually afterwards I would put the first initial, last name of the client, or the first name, last initial, however that works. You can add an image. So if they've given you permission to add that image of them holding the sold sign or whatever, you can do that. And you would just have to let the system know you have permission to add this and click add, and that would end up on that My Bios page as a testimonial, or also on the testimonials page. I'm going to clear this out, go back to my home screen. Social media links. If you've done this on your My Account page, you're fine, because if you click go there, that's actually where it's going to take you. So as long as you've done it in My Account, you're good to go. Blogging is very simple. If you're a blogger, I assume you know how to do that. If not, and you want to get started, again, that's another maybe mini session or one-on-one we can do. Your ASC should have done this for you, but double check. If you go to apply an SSL cert, you want to go ahead and activate the SSL. That means your site's secure. It's going to make your tech savvy quit. Sorry. Oh my gosh, quit. Okay. It's going to make your tech savvy clients feel more secure. And also when doing things like newsletters and embedding web pages, if you don't have enough SSL cert, it is not going to work. So that's a really important thing to double check. It should have been taken care of for you though. So that's really the bulk of editing your web page. I know I threw this at you guys really quick. I did not want to go over, hour and a half, 2 hours on this, but we definitely, as long as you guys want to stay online, if you have questions, I'm absolutely available for however long you guys want to keep me here. I just don't want to overwhelm you with too much information, which I probably did, but.
That's good. The good thing is these are recorded, so it's nice to go back and pick and choose what parts we want to work on.
Yep. There's a ton in Schmidt Video Classroom. There's a ton of videos, Moxi Monday videos, long form videos on Moxi, just a ton of information. Actually, one other thing I do want to touch on, if you're adding testimonials from somewhere else, you do need to make sure that the page is unhidden. So to do that, you're going to go to Site Pages, All Pages. By default, the testimonials tab is hidden because we don't want it live until you actually have some testimonials in there. So when you get to this All Pages section, you'll just scroll down to Testimonials right here, and you'll see it says Hidden. You just have to click Show. So once you've added a bunch of testimonials, if you want that page to show up under the About Me tab, you need to show that page. The same with blogging. If you do start blogging, you're going to want to come in and use this show for your blog page. So that's just how you manage some of the pages that aren't showing up on your website yet if you want them to be showing. All right, that's it.
So Judy, that was amazing. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely, anytime. Like I said, I just get worried because I know that there's so much here that.
Right.
And I tell everybody this, especially on Launchpad. I know we just threw a bunch at you. Moxi's really exciting. We've been in it a long time, so it's easy for us to get excited, go fast, click away. The most important thing for you guys is if you have time this week, get in right away and start playing with it. You can't break it, so get in and play with it right away. If you don't play with it right away and you wait until you have time to really dig in, you're going to forget certain things. Getting that muscle memory working right away is huge. The other thing is you don't have to know how to do it all right away. Find the part that spoke to you the most today and start with that. Because once you get in a system and start working with the stuff that you're passionate about, the rest starts to make sense. So I'm always here. Glad to help anytime. And yeah, just reach out to Sarah if you want to schedule a mini session. If it's a one-on-one thing, you can reach out to me directly, or you can reach out to Sarah and see if she's available. Whatever you guys need, we're here to support you with Moxi because it's really, really a great tool. I think it's definitely the best one I've seen since I've started. So.